Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you guys are ready because we are about to begin the very first match of today, and you are watching the FSL for Mobile Legends Bang Bang, and this is the Myanmar tournament. Remember, this is a one-off tournament. It will not lead to the circuit. If you want more information about the FSL circuit and when it can begin amidst all of this COVID situation, crisis, whatever you may put it, you can head on down to FSL on our Facebook page or our Instagram, and that's where we release news as soon as possible, and when the correct authorities or situation allows us to begin with. Looks like the teams have already gone in the draft, so let's just jump straight into our first game. Remember, this is going to be a best of 3 series between Reborn and Pixies, and this is the third place match. Both teams are already guaranteed 1,000 eyes. That is the prize for both the third place as well as the fourth place, and then in second place they will get 2,000 diamonds, and in first place the grand finalists or the grand champions will walk away with 4,000 diamonds. That's the grand prize. But for now, let's take a look at the draft between Reborn and Pixies. We're gonna start with Reborn on the blue side. They ban out Claude as well as the Diggy, and then they pick up the Axbog, and then on the Pixies side they ban out the Selena and the Sicilon. Sicilon has a very high win rate. If you look over to yesterday's game, I think it's about 80%, give or take. We saw a couple of games, like I think like 4 to 5 games of Sicilon, and I think I only remember one game where the Sicilon lost, and that was because of a reversal. I'm not sure which game that is. Remember, if you want to catch up all the other games that have taken place yesterday, as well as the day before yesterday, those were the round of 16, as the round of 8, which is the quarterfinals, as well as the semis. You can check out all the VODs on our Facebook page. But looks like we're gonna be picking out the Valor as well as the Uranus. I like that combo. Valor's really good slow, even though Flame Shot has already been nerfed. I would say it's only the close range that has really been nerfed. 400 damage to 160, so quite a substantial drop in terms of close range damage. And also there is a drop in terms of the magic power bonus. It's about 100% to 40%, so quite a big nerf. In fact, more than half if you take into account the close range mechanics of how play characters like Grog, heroes like Kufra, Uranus. They try to make use of Flame Shot to actually abuse that near range burst that they kind of lacked early game. And looks like they're gonna pick up the Kufra. I like this combo. In Pixies they're really tanky now. They ban out the Hylos because they don't want Reborn to have that near range, although Atlas is still on the board. But that being said, in Pixies already picked up Valor, so if you use that, if you picked up an Atlas, you're just gonna get stunned by Valor, you're gonna get slowed, and it's just I don't think Atlas will be able to close down the distance with a Valor on the side of Pixies. So they ban out the Leomord. Just take out the fighter. We can see that they're really target banning the roles, the best heroes available for the roles. Both sides haven't picked up the MM. I think with Granger still on the board, Reborn should either go for the Granger, or they can also go for 1-1, but 1-1 is super late game, right? And then if you look over the side in Pixies, I think 1-1 would be really tough given that there's a Bruno on the other side, so the scaling is definitely going to be a lot harder. If you think about how Pixies can really steamroll this Valor lineup, they want to go full AoE. Wow, okay, so Reborn's pulling out the Minotaur, the first Minotaur we have seen in this tournament series, and they also pick up the Hanabi. I think the Hanabi is really good, given that they pick up the Minotaur. So you can see they want to go for full AoE with the Axbog essentially trying to surprise Impunity Pixies with the last Insanity, and then you have Minotaur going to Mion's Fury, setting it up for the Hanabi. I really do feel that this is a pretty good draft for Reborn. However, that being said, you also have an Asmolder on the other side on Impunity Pixies, so they are prepared to take a fight up front. I'm not sure about this. I feel like Impunity Pixies have a decent burst, given that they pick up the Kufra. You got the Valor, you got the Asmolder, heroes that are really in your face kind of heroes, right? Heroes that do really well in team fights if they can set up for ass murder, but Reborn just have the bigger team crowd control. You're talking about Minotaur, you got an Xbox there, you got a Lilia, and you got Chang'e, Hanabi, heroes that can deal damage from afar, but it all comes down to how Kagaya on this Minotaur can position itself. If she can catch like a maybe a 3 to 4 man stun on the side of Pixies, and that's a really good setup because you know then Hanabi can go with her ultimate. She's freed up to do whatever damage she needs to be dealing, and doesn't really have to worry about getting caught out. And I would assume that Hanabi would be staying pretty far back just to make sure that no one can really get to her, because that's essentially the kind of setup that they have for the Hanabi, right? For the MM, the idea behind it is for them to drop, or rather try to drop ultimate onto at least the tank, or rather Kufra, isolate her away, and then they try to bring him down. And now we're gonna see Impunity Pixies start with a little bit of aggression. They're gonna take the red buff. So decent start. I don't think the Reborn kind of suspects anything at all. The matchup between this Uranus and Hanabi looks really good, and in fact they're going sort of a 1-2-2 with Chang'e as the off laner against the Ass Murder. And I think this is pretty good for, I would say this is a good lane matchup for Impunity Pixies. If they can try to secure this red buff, it would be a good, you know, invasion in the earlier part of the game. You got Valor already stunning out the Minotaur. With the fireball shots, I don't think they should be able to get him. So fireball explosions, not good enough to pick up a Minotaur kill, but still, at least they secure the red buff. Meanwhile, top lane, Chang'e in a little bit of trouble. So once again getting spotted by Ying on this crew fight. They get the first blood with the Valor burst. Obviously they used the flame shot as well. Kido gonna be holding up the top lane with Velvet for the meantime, while they wait for the Minotaur to come back to lane. And this early game potential coming from MP Pixies, it's really been capitalized to the highest level. You can see they're trying to pressure the opposite lanes, especially the Uranus. It's always good because Hanabi tries to go back, and Gugu's just gonna go there right within range. They should be able to get this. A little bit unfortunate there. Good ultimate coming up from Aphrodite to catch the Uranus in a really bad spot. In fact, I would say the Uranus kind of went in a little bit too deep. Dived a little bit too aggressively there, got caught in a bad spot. And in general, I think as long as Uranus can hold the bot lane by herself, I think good into a really good position to just pressure. There's really nothing much that both the Uranus, or rather the Xbox, especially the Hanabi, can do anything to Uranus. Maybe just hold the lane, but you can see that even though they're going 2v1, they're still allowing the Uranus to do slight damage to the tower. So that's just where I think the mismatch for the bottom side will be for Reborn. But if they can hold on to the late game, I'm sure that the Hanabi can catch up in terms of farm. Hanabi will definitely become really strong.
Initiate retreat! Request backup! Turtle resurrecting soon. Request backup! Turtle resurrecting soon. resurrecting soon.
Alright, so we're finally back. I kind of just realized that my voice was off stream for so long, but it's okay. We are finally back with that voice. So I was trying to emphasize during downtime that you know, Impunity Pixies are doing a really good job at pressuring that early game, and that's because if you look over to the side of Reborn, they really need to get the Hanabi up to speed. If they can get Hanabi into the late game, then yes, they do stand a chance by using the Minoru's Fury as well as the Hanaga. Excuse me, Higambana to actually set up for a really huge wombo combo. But on the side of Pixies, you can see that they do respect the threat of that late game Hanabi as well as the threat of the wombo combo. Given that Reborn have a lot of AoE skills, you know, you've got the magic shot coming from Lydia, you have the meteor shower coming in from Chang'e, so they're trying to rush the issue right now, and they're making their way towards tier 3s. Xbox gonna use the last insanity, followed by the Minoru's Fury onto the back line. They do burn one immortality charge, but Nora now just wrecking havoc onto the back lines. They get 2 kills onto the Minotaur as well as the Xbox. And they're gonna make their way onto the top side. No tier 3 taken down the mid lane, but at least they did some decent damage onto the turret. Good also starting to work on the tier 3 on the bottom. I'm sure they should get this mid tower even without the help of the Bruno. And you can see Impunity Pixies just keeping their focus on objectives. And now they're 10k in front, even though the kill score doesn't really suggest that difference. You know, 3 to 4 seems like a pretty even match. But look at the amount of objectives they've taken. There are 7 towers taken by the side of Impunity Pixies, and then Reborn with none. And this kind of shows the focus of Impunity Pixies. They know their priority, they know the win conditions. Let's not allow the Hanabi to get to the late game. Let's not be too afraid of their wombo combo. We force the objectives. And I'm not sure if you guys kind of noticed, but earlier in the game when Xbox and Hanabi were at the bottom lane, it was kind of a 1-2-2. Xbox did not buy the mask. So that means Hanabi was kind of sharing EXP as well as gold with the Xbox. And that kind of delays Hanabi's growth, especially in the earlier part of the game. And furthermore, she actually went for Berserker Furies first. So Herphrodite definitely did struggle a little bit with the early game damage. She's gonna farm a lot slower as compared to the Bruno. Although she's got her Scarlet Phantom now, it really comes down to whether or not Kagaya can position herself in a good spot to land that Minoru's Fury combo to set up for the ultimate for the rest of her teammates. And now you got Last Insanity on standby. They did manage to bring down the Lilia. And now Ying gonna jump in with the Tyrant's Madness. Esmeralda jumping in with the ultimate as well. Last Insanity being used, but it's not enough. Kagaya is gonna be the next one to fall. And Velvet is the only one, or rather Herphrodite and Velvet is the only one standing in between their way. But look at that, Zin and Ruby so focused on the throne, and they're gonna get the base. That's gonna be your first game going to Impunity Pixies. I gotta say, it wasn't really the biggest surprise right there. If you kind of looked at what Impunity Pixies had on the draft, it was really early game, right? You had a Bruno, a Valor, Uranus, Kufra, heroes that don't really need much item to do a ton of damage, especially for Valor at with a Flame Shot. If you look at Flame Shot mechanics, they kind of nerfed the near range damage from 400 to 160, but it says nothing about that long range. So Valor definitely still receiving the full impact of the scaling. And I do like the fact that Uranus was able to handle, or rather Good in general, was able to handle that long range all by herself. Like that 1v2 down the bot lane where Hanabi and Xbox were just desperately trying to stop Uranus from pushing. It was still a really good performance from Good. And you can see that And a lot of cases, Impunity Pixies was just doing such a good job at lane management, right? They had really good lane matchup at the top lane. You had the Esmeralda against the Chang'e. Chang'e can't really do much against the Esmeralda, and every time the Chang'e wants to get close to get those last hits, Esmeralda is just gonna be pressuring her with her skills, trying to close the distance down, and that's always that threat of the Valor as well as the Qualifier. They can pop out from anywhere, they have long range initiations, they have huge CCs, they have huge bursts of damage, so I think that's where the threat of Impunity Pixies is to Reborn. I really think it comes down to the draft. Yes, Reborn did have the better crowd control, they have the better wombo combos, but if you can't carry that into the late game, if the Hanabi doesn't really have damage, then even if you set up a lot of stuns, you're not really killing the opposite side. And they have absolutely no answer to the Esmeralda. And although Velvet did manage to pick up the NOD at the later stage of the game, it was just a little bit too late. By the time she got the NOD, you've already lost your tier 3s. You know, you don't really have much carry on, or rather much carry potential on the Hanabi, because the Hanabi and the Xbox were sharing lane EXP as well as go throughout the entire game. So we'll go for a short 2 minutes break, but when we're back, we'll bring you game 2 between Reborn and Impunity Pixies. Alright, and welcome back. It looks like our teams are already ready, so let's just jump straight into the drafting screen. And remember, this is a best of 3 for the third place matchup. And we're going to have Impunity Pixies against Reborn. Oops, I actually spilled my drink. But that's fine. At least it wasn't on screen. We've got a matchup between a Selena band as well as a Sisalon band. So very standard bands throughout for Impunity Pixies. While Reborn is going for that Diggy as well as the Claude band. And I gotta say, I do like this draft coming up for Impunity Pixies, right? They have this very early game concept of the drafting, and if you went into game 1, I think Reborn had too much, I wouldn't say greediness, but they were definitely a very ambitious per se in terms of the draft, you know, picking up the Hanabi, but not going for the mask on the Xbox to try to buy some time, which I felt like was the key deciding factor for Impunity Pixies. They were a little bit lucky that there was a slight mistake in Reborn's itemization, especially for the Xbox. So this time around, they're gonna go for a similar draft, but maybe just a difference because they still pick up the Chang'e as well as the Xbox, so they definitely do have faith in these two heroes. And remember, the pricing for the third place as well as the fourth place are the same. Both teams will walk away with I believe it's 1,000 diamonds each, and then second place they will walk away with 2,000 diamonds, and first place obviously 4,000 diamonds. So I'm excited for that. We got a Kimi getting picked up. That's something that's going to be definitely a lot different. I think it's more suitable given the way that they want to play for Reborn. If they want to go that 1-1-2-2 route, it definitely does work a lot better than the Hanabi. And at the same time, Kimi is a really early game marksman as compared to Hanabi. She doesn't really need much farm. She's got superior range compared to even if you compare it to the Bruno, she's better in terms of early game engagement. She can scale with magic as well as the physical, so it's kind of hard for a tank to kind of build defense against a Kimi because she has both of that arsenal in her kit. And Reborn's also going to ban on the Bruno, so they do recognize the early game threat from the Bruno. The next best MM that's available to Impunity Pixies, given that Claude is banned out as well, it's either the carry or the Granger. It's either one of these two heroes, and I think Granger would definitely be a lot more suitable to Impunity Pixies. Kind of similar to Bruno, doesn't really much item, you know, can engage in the early game, and obviously does well in terms of farming. So we got Pixies, they decided to go for the carry, which I think that's fine. Carry is still not too bad of a pick. It's quite similar to the Granger, and obviously Reborn's got something to deal with the carry. They do have a Balearic, which means if the carry wants to lay damage on either the Xbox or Balearic, she has to be a little bit cautious of the ultimate potential from Balearic, because if she gets caught in place, then it becomes quite an issue for the side of Reborn. So Impunity Pixies, I like this draft coming in from them because it's early game, you know, they got the carry, they got the little one, but Reborn definitely do have a lot more early game threat if you think about it. Other than the Valor, I don't think they have too much to worry about. Yes, there's a Uranus, but I really do think they can deal with her if they have the right matchup.
Welcome to Mobile Legends. 5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them. All troops deployed. Initiate retreat. Request backup.
So let's begin, and once again, Impunity Pixies, they are going for the invade like they did in the previous game. A little bit of harassment in the jungle, they will secure it. Though I think it actually went to Heraldite, so good re-engagement coming from Reborn. At least they managed to take the red buff away. Meanwhile, bot lane, Velvet's gonna go up against this Leomord, and as long as Nora does manage to avoid getting hit by the Spear of Honor, I don't think there should be any issue. And you know, I think it shouldn't be a problem for this Leomord down in the bot lane. She definitely does have a lot of I would say range poke, so not really too much for Nora to worry in the bottom side. Meanwhile, top lane you got Uranus up against the Kimi and Xbox combo. Once again, Xbox not building that much, so Kimi is definitely gonna have to find farm one way or another, or if they can hold into the late game, then yes, this gamble will kind of pay off. Meanwhile, you've got Ying jumping in with the Tyrant's Madness, trying to catch up onto the Baloric. Another poke once again, but Valor with the push, they still secure it with the burn damage. And not only that, Nora will also summon the Steed. A little bit unnecessary, kind of burned the ultimate in my opinion. But they are in the lead, so I think it shouldn't be a problem. 2 minutes in, first blood going to Impunity Pixies. And they also have that 1k goal lead because of the jungle steals from them. Good now, definitely playing a lot more aggressive compared to the first game, and they're doing a good job at you know, trying to just battle it out against this Kimi lane as well as the Xbox on the top side. Like I said, good once again doing really well on the Uranus to just cut the waves as much as possible, not allow the Kimi to farm up. And it has even resorted to Reborn putting the Kimi down the bot lane just to try to get some farm. Meanwhile, I've got Impunity Pixies training out in the middle. And Zin as well as the rest of the gang already coming down onto the bot side. Once again, Kido is going to be the 1 to 4. And if they want to, they can even start up the turtle. Without the Baloric, they don't really have a front liner. So I believe that it will go uncontested. Meanwhile, Heraldite, it looks like she wants to build into the Blade of Despair. And that's quite an ambitious first item to go for. I think going 1 would definitely suit them a lot better because they need that early game potential. Meanwhile, in the middle of them, all Tyrant's Madness already being used. Kido, once again, the third person to fall. In fact, all 3 times it's him. Oh, they get the spear back, and Ingin's gonna fall alongside the Baloric as well. Good re-engagement coming up back from Reborn, but they have yet to answer about those lane cutting coming up from Nora as well as the Uranus on the top side. And looks like they're gonna get the tier 1 on the bottom lane. And the sooner or later thing before that top side drops as well. You can see Yami already dropping to half HP. And this 1v1 against the Uranus. She's gonna constantly jump in, knowing that she's got the shield to block. And that's going to be a Bloodlust X coming up from Nora. Currently Impunity Pixies 4k up in terms of goal lead. over the top side once again, Impunity Pixies working to find an angle to take that, and Xbox already down to a slither of health. Kido as well. I'm sure if Ruri checks that brush, he might be able to get himself a double kill, but it looks like Impunity Pixies, they want to focus on the objective. They see Herphodite going back a little bit late to TP out. And that's going to be easy tier 1 tower on the top side.
Turtle resurrecting soon.
They really do need to depend a lot on Kido's ultimate. They do need that Wrath of Dairat to actually initiate for them and try to catch the teammates of Impunity Pixies off guard. But at this point in time, you can see they do have a really good plan in mind, and they are executing it perfectly. They've not really lost too much. Bot lane once again finding another stray kill onto the Minster. And even down the mid, Gugu's just holding the middle lane 1v4, and that kind of allows Pixies to take up the bottom side. It looks like Impunity Pixies are gonna pull the brake off the pushing train for a bit while they wait for Carrie to join up with the rest of them. And obviously she's gonna be taking both the blue and red buff. She's about to complete her endless battle. She's already got a jungle blade up, and if you look at the net worth between the marksmen on both sides, you've got Carrie already at that 4.8k mark with this creep. Meanwhile, you've got Kimia still at 3k, so that's a really huge difference. And you can really see how Impunity Pixies are prioritizing that hyper carry. I wouldn't say it's a hyper carry because, you know, you still got that Valor that's available to them. You got the Little One with the Bloodlust X and the Endless Battle coming up for him as well. So they still prioritize a lot of farm on the Kimi, you know, rather for the carry, giving a lot of that blue and red buff onto her, trying to give her as much space to farm. Whereas if you look on the side of Reborn, you know, I know they pick up the Herphodite to try to carry that early game, but she's going for greedy items, she's going for BOD, she's sharing the lane with Xbox, which means she's not really getting the most EXP now. Carry's gonna jump right in, you got Xbox using Last Insanity, but she's still gonna go down. That's gonna be a double kill for the carry, and I don't think they should be able to carry on here. Impunity Pixies do not have the creeps to work on the middle lane, so they're just gonna go top side. And with 2 members down on the end of Reborn, I really don't think there's much they can do at this point. But allow Impunity Pixies to take the turtle uncontested. And from here on, it's all about we've seen this go down. We know how the story goes. Impunity Pixies are just gonna start work on the tier 2s, or rather finish up the tier 2 down the middle lane, and then she's probably gonna they're probably gonna start off by taking the Lord in 90 seconds and then pressure the tier 3s. So it's kind of like a deja vu in the first game where, you know, they prioritize a lot of those outer turrets, that tier 1s, the tier 2s, and when the Lord comes up, let's just rotate as 4, allow the Uranus to do what they do best. And now in the middle of the jungle, a little bit of an engagement right there. Xbox gonna pick up the Valor with the blade, rather with the Last Insanity. King's Landing being summoned by Velvet, but not enough HP to tank out the damage from Ruri. Look at how much damage she's doing to Herphodite. One more hit and she would have went down. But looks like Kimi's still gonna be up and running. But this allows Impunity Pixies to take up the tier 3 on the top side. Although it looks like Kagaya might have to burn the Meteor Shower. Nope, she doesn't, because Yami's going to use the Last Insanity once again.
Initiate retreat.
So Impunity Pixies is just doing a good job at putting in pressure, which was what I was trying to mention before the fight happened in the middle of the lane, where, you know, Impunity Pixies, they know their win conditions, and that is to push the towers as fast as possible. Let's pick up this early game draft with the Valor, with the Kufra, Uranus, heroes that are very independent but at the same time can contribute to team fights when need be. And Impunity is just making really good use of their rotations. You know, they're taking the top lane. They take team fights whenever there's no objectives on the map to take. And then, you know, let's make our way towards the tier 2s and let's just rinse and repeat until we reach the tier 3s. And that's where we wait for the lot to come up. And now another fight gonna be happening right here. Valor with the Pale Flames gets 1, gets 2, and Herphodite might fall as well. Another incident where it's a little bit too close for comfort as Herphodite nearly falls. But you can see Kido being the main victim of all these engagements. 0 and 6 at this point. Although she does have 3 assists to her name. It has been quite a tough game for Kido. I don't really blame her. If you look at the lineup of Pixies, they have so many frontal damage. You know, you have got the carry, you've got the Uranus, you've got the Kufra, you've got the Valor. Heroes that do really well against melee tanks. Now Ingi's gonna jump into the backline with the Tyrant's Madness. Yami gonna probably go down as well. And no chance over there. In fact, Kufra is diving the tier 3s. They get the kill onto the Balearic. And with the Lord getting taken up, and they're gonna cut the tier 2 wave in the middle lane. Gugut already making his way down the bottom side. And you can see, even though Kimi's got the VOD, she's not really doing much damage to Gugut because at this point, Gugut's already got the Blade Armor up. You know, she's got the Oracle Blessing, she's got the Immortality. So she's really tanky at this point. You've got Uranus that looks really scary, and that's not even taking account that you've got Kufra on the opposing side that has a Curse Helmet, and she's probably gonna go for Queen's Wing. Although I do see that they sold off one of the tier 1 items. Gugut now pressuring their tier 3 on the bottom lane. Super minion waves coming into the middle as well as the bot. And Meteor Shower from Kagaya is going to push them away.
Initiate retreat.
It looks like this is going to be a pretty straightforward push from Impunity Pixies. They don't really have to do too much at this point. Just make sure that they maintain pressure on the tier 3s. You know, every now and then take a team fight whenever it's available to them. And you've already got Leomod that has completed her Blade of Despair. She's probably going to go for Queen's Wing for sustainability. And whereas on the side of Velvet, who's pretty much the offlaner, it's in comparison to I would say Nora's role in Impunity Pixies. She's got her endless battle, but she doesn't really have a BOD. She's 1.5 items behind that Leomod. And that kind of shows the disparity between these two teams, as well as how much of a gap there is in the draft. At least for these 2 games, I would say. Impunity Pixies is going to be taking up the jungle, starving out Reborn even more as each minute passes by. Denying the buffs, denying the goal, and as well as freezing up the lanes. And those minions, sooner or later, they're going to make their way into tier 3. As you can see, Impunity Pixies, they're working like clockwork now. Just making sure that they push out the waves, and force Reborn into their bases. Don't allow them to step into the jungle. Don't allow them any sort of farm whatsoever. And even if they do, they are sharing EXP, given that it requires all of them to be in the base at the same time. So they don't really get the maximum amount of farm. And every single time they step out, there's always the threat of getting caught out. And well, speak of the devil, Velvet's gonna go down almost instantly. And that wasn't even the full strength of Impunity Pixies. That was only the 3 of them with the Valor, Kufra, as well as the Leomod. And now Lord gonna come up in 8 seconds.
Lord resurrecting soon.
And almost instantly, Impunity Pixies are going to start working onto the Lord. Remember, this is an enhanced Lord, so it's definitely going to allow them to take at least 1 or 2 tier 3s if they push correctly. And look at the HP of the towers. I think it's going to push down onto the bot lane. I'm pretty sure of that. NOD gonna come up for the Chang'e, but like I said in the first game, is it a case of too late, too little? Because at this point, most of the characters on the side of Impunity Pixies are already full build. You know, all of them have got pretty much 4 items. Looks like you're gonna see Uranus push out the bottom lane while the rest of the teams are following the super minion waves into the middle. Granger gonna go, and or the Krufar gonna go and buy himself, and Inging trapped on the other side of the wall, forced to use the flicker out. Although that did buy a little bit of space for Nora to push onto the top lane. Well, they got the tier 1s over the tier 3s on the top and bottom side, and they can actually go for the GG push if they want to. Lord still at half HP. Krufar gonna stun up Kido. That's gonna be the front line down. Yami down to half HP as well. Already used the last Insanity. Nora's gonna dive in with the Steed, and they're gonna get Velvet. And with 5 members still standing on the side of Impunity Pixies. Well, it spoke a little bit too quickly, and he's gonna fall right there. But Rui's already gonna complete the tower take, and objective is all they have in mind. And that's gonna be Impunity Pixies securing that tier 3 towers as well as the throne. They are your 3rd place team in this Myanmar edition of the FSL MLBB 1-off tournament. And like I said, really straightforward coming up in Impunity Pixies, just making sure that, I don't know, objective is the name of the game, you know, just pushing onto the outer towers, and really quick games on both ends as well. Both games ended before the 20-minute mark, so it was really straightforward for them. With that being said, congratulations to Impunity Pixies once again, as well as Reborn. They both will walk away with 1,000 diamonds because they are 3rd and 4th place. But coming up next, it's going to be the main matchup and the main titans of this tournament. You're going to be looking at Tale of Vendetta up against Yangon Galacticos, and that is where I'm really stoked for the matchup. You can look at the brackets right now. Reborn obviously your 3rd place match, that was the match that we saw, and then Impunity Pixies in 3rd, and then Reborn in 4th. But Tale of Vendetta versus Yangon Galacticos, that is the game that all of us are going to keep putting our eyes on, and that is the fight for 1st place, as well as the fight for the 4,000 diamonds on the line. So we'll go for a short break, but when we are back, the best of 5 series between the best of the best in this 1-off tournament. I'll see you right after that.